The grand chamber of the Galactic Council gleamed under the light of 3 artificial suns. 200 alien species sat in rising tiers of seats, their forms ranging from crystalline structures to gaseous clouds contained in environmental suits. At the center of this cosmic theater stood a single human. Tom Reed adjusted his plain black tie, a small gesture that went unnoticed by the towering forms around him. His simple gray suit and ordinary human appearance seemed almost dull compared to the exotic beings that filled the chamber. Yet there was something in his eyes, a quiet determination that anyone familiar with human history would have recognized as dangerous. The human proposal for improving faster-than-light drive efficiency is denied, announced High Counselor Bright Crystal, their crystalline form casting rainbow patterns across the chamber walls. The current systems work adequately. We see no need for experimental changes. A ripple of musical laughter echoed through the chamber. The gas form representative of the Mist Collective bobbed in what passed for amusement in their culture. Perhaps if they spent another 1,000 years studying physics, they might understand why their proposals are so amusing. Tom Reed said nothing. He simply made a small mark on his datapad, the 47th mark in a long list of denied proposals. The humans' persistent attempts to modify established technologies are becoming tiresome, rumbled Representative Stone, their rocky form shifting in irritation. First it was their primitive suggestions about medical nanites, then their laughable ideas about terraforming. And now they think they can improve FTL drives that have served us for 10,000 years. More laughter filled the chamber. Tom Reed continued standing quietly, his face showing no emotion. Let us not forget their warnings about artificial intelligence safety, chirped another representative, their feathers ruffling in mirth. As if a species barely 2,000 years into space travel could lecture us about AI. The High Counselor raised a crystalline appendage for silence. Human Representative Reed, do you have anything to say in defense of your proposal? Tom looked up from his datapad. His voice, when it came, was calm and clear. No defense is needed, High Counselor. The math in our proposal is correct. The improvements would work. The safety protocols are sound. And the efficiency gains would benefit everyone in the galaxy. Yet you have no proof, interrupted Representative Stone. We offered to demonstrate, Tom replied evenly. 7 times. We were denied permission each time. Because the risks, began the High Counselor, but Tom continued speaking, his voice never rising, but somehow filling the chamber. In the past 20 years, humanity has submitted 412 proposals across 73 fields of science and technology. Each one was mathematically sound. Each one offered significant improvements to existing systems. Each one was denied without proper review. The chamber grew quiet. There was something unsettling about the humans' calmness. We have watched our medical advances being called primitive, while millions of your citizens die from curable diseases. We have seen our terraforming proposals dismissed, while colonies struggle on barely habitable worlds. We have had our AI safety protocols mocked while your systems grow increasingly unstable. Tom Reed picked up his datapad and straightened his tie once more. Humanity has tried to be a good partner. We have followed your rules. We have shown our work. We have offered proof. And we have been patient. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, optical sensors, and sensory organs of each council member. But we are done trying to convince you. If the Galactic Council won't allow us to help improve things through official channels, then we'll do it ourselves. Is that a threat, Representative Reed? The High Counselor's voice held a warning tone. Tom smiled, a small, quiet smile that somehow made several council members feel suddenly uneasy. Not at all, High Counselor. It's simply a statement of fact. Humanity is going to do what humanity does best. Solve problems, with or without permission. He turned and walked toward the chamber exit, his footsteps echoing in the silence. At the door, he paused and spoke without turning around. Fine. We'll do it ourselves. The chamber doors closed behind him with a soft hiss, leaving behind a room full of powerful beings who couldn't shake the feeling that they had just made a terrible mistake. 6 months after the council meeting, Intelligence Officer Mark Wilson sat in a dimly lit observation post on the edge of alien space. His small station, disguised as a routine monitoring facility, had the best view of human space from outside their borders. What he saw on his screens made him lean forward in his chair. "They really did it," he whispered to himself, watching the energy readings spike again. "They actually did it." The main screen showed massive construction projects across human space. Shipyards that hadn't existed 2 months ago now stretched for kilometers. Energy signatures unlike anything in the galaxy's database pulsed from research stations. And most interesting of all, the usual traffic in and out of human space had dropped by 60%. A soft beep drew his attention to another screen. The latest report from the Galactic Council scrolled across it. Human activities noted but deemed non-threatening. Continue routine monitoring. Mark allowed himself a small smile. The aliens still didn't understand humans at all. He turned to his private communication system, one built with actual human technology, not the outdated alien versions. His fingers moved quickly across the holographic keys as he typed his report. Operation Independence is go. Phase 1 complete. Waiting for Phase 2 signal. The message disappeared into the void, encrypted in ways the alien systems couldn't detect. Mark leaned back and watched as another massive energy spike lit up his screens. In the Galactic Council's Intelligence Center, things were less calm. Junior Analyst Bright Spark, a younger member of the crystalline species, was trying to make their superior understand. "The energy readings are off the charts," they insisted, their crystal form flickering with anxiety. "We've never seen construction at this scale." Senior Analyst Decor barely looked up from their desk. "They are just humans. What could they possibly build that would concern us?" "But sir, look at these readings." Bright Spark projected a hologram showing the activity in human space. "They've built more in 6 months than most species build in a decade. And these energy signatures, we can't even identify them." "Probably failed experiments," Deep Core dismissed. "Remember their ridiculous FTL drive proposals. Humans always think they can improve things they barely understand." On the other side of the galaxy, in a secret meeting room, 5 of the most powerful corporate leaders in alien space gathered to discuss the changes they had noticed. "Human workers are leaving our facilities," said the first, a tall being made of pure light. "All of them. Every single human employee has requested transfer back to human space. Same in the research sector," added another, this one a swirling mass of gas. "They're taking their scientists, their data, everything." "Perhaps we should inform the council," suggested a third. The light being flickered in what passed for laughter. "The council. They're still laughing about that human representative's traumatic exit 6 months ago." Back at his observation post, Mark Wilson received a new message on his secure channel. His eyes widened as he read it. Quickly, he typed out a new report. "Phase 2 initiated. Suggest all human operatives begin final withdrawals. The show is about to begin." He looked up at his screens one last time, watching as another massive construction project came online in human space. The energy readings were now so high that the alien measuring systems simply showed error messages. "They asked for proof," he said to himself, beginning his own shutdown sequence. "Well, they're about to get it." As he prepared to leave his post, a final report from the Galactic Council flashed across his screen. "Human activities continue at elevated levels. No cause for concern. Maintain standard observation protocols." Mark couldn't help but laugh as he packed his real equipment, the human-made devices that had been gathering actual data all this time. The aliens had no idea that humans had been running at half capacity for the past century, deliberately keeping their true capabilities hidden. "You wanted us to prove ourselves," he said to the empty room. "Just wait until you see what happens when we stop holding back." The lights in his observation post went dark, adding one more quiet shutdown to the thousands happening across alien space. The whispers in the void were about to become a roar. The first sign that something was wrong came from the trading ports. On a busy morning at Galaxy Central Trade Station, dock worker Blue Shell stared at his schedule screen in confusion. Every single human ship had vanished from the arrival listings. "Must be a computer error," he muttered, tapping the screen with one of his 4 appendages. But the screen wasn't wrong. For the first time in 50 years, not a single human transport was scheduled to arrive. By afternoon, the news had spread across the galaxy. Human ships weren't just missing from one port. They had disappeared from every major trade route. The massive cargo vessels that carried food, medicine, and technology between the stars were simply gone. In the Galactic Council's economic chamber, alarms began to sound. "What do you mean? Earth has ceased exports?" demanded Trade Minister Sparkwind, their energy form crackling with agitation. "They can't just stop. They supply 30% of the galaxy's medical equipment." A nervous aide displayed a message that had been broadcast from Earth just hours earlier. The human spokesperson's face filled the screen, calm and professional. "The Independent Development Initiative is now in effect. All human trade, technology sharing, and colonial cooperation will be temporarily suspended while we focus on internal improvements. We thank our galactic partners for their understanding." Understanding. Sparkwind crackled so intensely that nearby electronics started to malfunction. "They can't do this. It's completely legal," finished High Counselor Bright Crystal, entering the chamber. "We've checked every treaty. They're violating no laws by choosing to develop independently." On the medical world of Healing Light, the situation was already becoming serious. Chief Medical Officer Longlife stared at the rapidly emptying shelves of their main hospital. "The human medical synthesizers," they said quietly. "They're shutting down." Their assistant checked the machines that had reliably produced medicine for decades. The screens displayed a simple message: "License expired. Please contact Earth Medical Technologies for renewal." "But we own these machines," protested the assistant. Longlife shook their head slowly. "No, we lease them. Read the contract." And now that Earth has suspended all agreements. Similar scenes played out across thousands of worlds. Transportation hubs discovered their AI traffic control systems, secretly designed and maintained by humans, beginning to degrade. Agricultural planets found their atmospheric processors, originally built with primitive human designs, operating at reduced capacity. In the Galactic Council chamber, the mood had shifted from confusion to fear. "Reports are coming in from every sector," announced Intelligence Chief Deep Core, their crystalline form dulled with stress. "Human colonies have sealed their borders. All communication channels are dark except for automated messages. Their defense systems..." They paused, checking the readings again. "Their defense systems are unlike anything we've ever seen." High Counselor Bright Crystal turned to their most experienced diplomat. "Contact Earth, immediately." The response came back within minutes. "Thank you for your message. Earth is currently focused on internal development as per our Independent Development Initiative. For emergencies, please contact your local non-human suppliers." In a quiet office far from the chaos, Tom Reed watched the galaxy's reactions on multiple screens. A small smile played across his face as he read the latest reports. Prices for human-made goods had increased 10,000% in just hours. 3 major alien corporations had already seen their stock values crash as investors realized how dependent they were on human technology. His computer chimed with an incoming message from Mark Wilson. "Phase 3 complete. All human assets secured. Estimated time until total system impact, 72 hours. Tom nodded to himself and typed a short reply. "Good. Let them realize exactly what primitive human technology was doing for them." He turned to look out his window at the Earth below, where massive new structures were rising into the sky. The primitive humans had spent decades pretending their technology was less advanced than it was, letting the aliens think they were the ones in control. Now finally, humanity could stop pretending. A new message flashed across his screen. The 7th emergency request from the Council in the past hour. Tom left it unanswered. The galaxy wanted proof of human capabilities. They were about to get it. The meeting room of Galaxy Prime Corporation was in chaos. CEO Lightstream watched in horror as another AI system crashed, adding to the growing list of failures across their company. How? They demanded, their luminous form dimming with distress. How are all our AIs failing at once? The technical director, a being of pure energy named Spark Core, displayed a horrifying discovery on the main screen. Sir, we found human code deep inside every AI system. They didn't just help build these, they actually designed most of the core functions. The room fell silent. Galaxy Prime, the largest technology corporation in the galaxy, had built its reputation on superior alien AI. Now they were learning the truth. 60%. Spark Core continued quietly. 60% of all our AI innovations were actually human-designed. They let us take the credit. They stayed in the background. And now they've removed their support. Lightstream finished. And everything is falling apart. The situation wasn't any better in the transportation sector. On the massive space station that controlled the galaxy's fastest travel routes, traffic controller Wavesong was watching the FTL corridors degrade. The human maintenance protocols, they said, checking another failing system. They weren't just helping, they were keeping everything stable. Without them. Their assistant looked up from another screen. How long until the corridors become unsafe? They already are, Wavesong replied. Travel time has doubled. In another week, it might triple. Without the human improvements we mocked as primitive, the whole network is slowly breaking down. But the worst crisis was happening on the farming worlds. On planet Green Hope, Agricultural Director Root Deep stood in a field of dying crops. The atmospheric processors that helped their plants grow were working at less than half their normal power. We laughed, they said to their worried staff. We laughed when humans suggested improvements to these processors. Called their ideas too simple, too crude. They looked at the darkening sky. Now we know. They weren't trying to improve alien technology. They were trying to fix their own systems that we didn't even know were there. In the Galactic Council's emergency session, the true scale of the disaster was becoming clear. It's not just one or two systems, reported Science Minister Crystalmind, their usually bright form now dull with worry. Human technology was integrated into everything. They did it so quietly, so carefully, that we never noticed how dependent we become. But why? Demanded another council member. Why help us secretly for so long, only to withdraw now? Because we never let them help openly, said a quiet voice. Everyone turned to see High Counselor Bright Crystal enter the chamber. Every time they offered improvements, we dismissed them. So they found another way. They simply built the improvements into everything they touched, letting us think we didn't need them. On Earth, Tom Reed was reviewing the latest reports with his team. The screen showed failing systems across the galaxy, but also something else. Massive new construction projects in human space, now operating at full power. Sir, one of his analysts called out, we're detecting attempts to reverse engineer our systems. Tom smiled. Let them try. They don't even understand the basic principles. We've been operating on completely different scientific theories for the past 50 years. A message flashed on his screen from Mark Wilson. Phase 4 complete. Estimated galaxy-wide economic impact reaching critical levels. Multiple alien civilizations requesting emergency assistance. Denied, Tom typed back. Not until they understand. He stood and walked to the window of his office, looking out at the gleaming towers of New Earth. Humanity had spent decades being underestimated, dismissed, and mocked. They had responded not with anger or violence, but with quiet competence, building, improving, and supporting from the shadows. Now, as alien civilization began to crumble without human support, the galaxy was finally learning a vital lesson. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never confuse kindness for dependency. A new alert sounded. Another emergency council session was being called to address the human problem. Tom smiled. They still didn't get it. This wasn't a human problem. It was a galactic awakening. The Galactic Stock Exchange, once a marvel of alien engineering, had shut down for the third time in a week. The massive crystal displays showed nothing but falling numbers and economic collapse. Another trading empire has fallen, announced Economic Minister Brightflow, their voice echoing in the emergency council chamber. The Star Path Corporation just declared bankruptcy. That's the 15th major company this week. High Counselor Bright Crystal's form flickered with stress. How many more? Without human technology. Brightflow consulted their dev. At least 60% of major galactic companies will fail within the month. The council chamber erupted in panic. Representatives from 100 worlds all tried to speak at once. Their voices mixed into a chorus of fear and desperation. Our medical systems are failing. The food production is down 70%. We can't maintain our atmospheric processors. The transport networks are barely working. In orbit around Earth, a fleet of diplomatic ships had gathered. They represented every major alien civilization, each one carrying desperate messages and pleas for help. Each one received the same automated response. Thank you for your diplomatic request. Earth's borders are currently closed as per the Independent Development Initiative. All non-emergency communications will be processed in the order they are received. The ships couldn't even get close to Earth. A new defense network, far more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen, kept them at a safe distance. Some of the more aggressive species had tried to force their way through. They didn't try twice. On a refugee ship leaving the agricultural world of Greenvale, Captain Starweaver watched as more vessels joined their convoy. Worlds that depended heavily on human technology were becoming uninhabitable. Millions were being forced to relocate. Another world evacuated. They noted in their log, "We mocked human technology for centuries. Now we're running from our own failing systems." Back in the council chamber, Intelligence Chief Deepcore was giving their report. The crystalline being's usual confidence was shattered. "We've detected massive energy signatures from human space," they said. "Their technological advancement in just these few weeks, it's beyond anything we thought possible." They weren't primitive. They were hiding their true capabilities. "How?" demanded a council member. "How could they advance so quickly?" "They didn't," replied Deepcore. "This isn't new advancement. These are technologies they already had. They just stopped pretending to be less advanced than us." The chamber fell silent as the truth sank in. Humanity hadn't just withdrawn their support. They had revealed how far ahead they truly were. In his office on Earth, Tom Reed watched a real-time map of the galaxy. Red dots showed failing systems, and there were thousands of them. A message from Mark Wilson appeared on his screen. Final phase complete. Galactic economy in freefall. Multiple civilizations on the brink of collapse. Refugee crisis beginning in outer sectors. Tom typed back, "Any military response?" "None," Mark replied. "They finally realized we weren't lying about our defense capabilities. After the warrior clan's failed attempt to breach Earth's shield, nobody else wants to try." Tom nodded to himself. Humanity had never wanted conflict. Even now, with the galaxy in chaos, their defensive systems had not harmed a single alien ship. They simply made aggression impossible. Another message flashed across his screen. This one marked with the highest priority from the Galactic Council itself. Unlike the previous messages begging for help, this one was different. Emergency session called. Vote to address complete restructuring of galactic leadership and technology sharing protocols. Finally, Tom thought, "They're starting to understand." He looked out his window at the gleaming city below. where new technologies that the aliens couldn't even comprehend were being developed openly now. Humanity had spent centuries being patient, being helpful, being quiet. That time was over. A final report came in. Council members requesting emergency meeting. They're ready to listen. Tom straightened his tie, just as he had done that day in the council chamber. But this time, he wasn't going to be dismissed. This time, humanity would set the terms. The Galactic Council chamber looked very different now. The once proud alien representatives sat quietly, their usual arrogance replaced by nervous anticipation. The grand room, normally lit by 3 artificial suns, now ran on emergency power, another victim of failing alien technology. Tom Reed walked into the chamber alone. No guards, no assistants, no display of force. He didn't need any. The simple black suit and quiet confidence he wore were enough to make several council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. "Before we begin," Tom said, his voice carrying easily through the quiet room, "Earth has prepared a short presentation." The chamber's main display flickered to life, showing images that made every alien present freeze in amazement. "This is New Earth," Tom explained, as pictures of impossibly advanced cities filled the screen. "Built in the 6 months since our withdrawal. No alien technology. No outside help. Just humans doing what humans do best, solving problems." The images change, showing massive space stations, new forms of energy generation, and transportation systems that seemed to defy physics itself. "But how?" asked High Counselor Bright Crystal, their crystalline form dulled with shock. "This level of advancement should take centuries." Tom smiled slightly. "No, this is what we can do in 6 months when we stop pretending to be less advanced than we are, when we stop waiting for permission to innovate." He pressed a button, and new images appeared. Perfect fusion reactors, instant communication devices across any distance, and true artificial intelligence that made the alien versions look like children's toys. "We tried to share," Tom continued. "We submitted proposals. We offered help. We were denied every time." He looked around the chamber. "So we helped anyway, quietly, behind the scenes. We maintained your systems, improved your technologies, solved your problems, all while letting you think you didn't need us." The room was completely silent now. Even the usual background hum of alien life support systems seemed muted. "And now?" asked Trade Minister Sparkwind carefully. "Now we offer a choice." Tom brought up a new display, a simple document titled Terms of Cooperation. Option 1. True partnership, equal sharing of technology, joint development of new innovations, no more dismissing ideas based on which species they come from. He paused, letting that sink in. Option 2. We continue our independent development initiative. We'll maintain our borders, advance our technology, and let the galaxy handle its own problems. "You're blackmailing us," accused a council member. "No," Tom replied calmly. "We're offering you a choice. For the first time, you're seeing humanity's true capabilities. You can work with us as equals, or you can work without us entirely. Either way, we won't go back to being treated as primitive." Mark Wilson's voice came through Tom's earpiece, showing them the fusion reactor demonstration now, sir. On the main screen, a small device no bigger than a desk powered up. In seconds, it was producing more energy than the council chamber's 3 artificial suns combined. "That's one small reactor," Tom noted. "We have thousands, and that's just the technology we're willing to show you today." High Counselor Bright Crystal moved forward. "The terms of your cooperation agreement are non-negotiable," Tom finished. "Equal partnership or nothing. No more treaties that favor one species over another. No more dismissing ideas because of their source." He looked around the chamber one more time. "You have one standard day to decide. Choose carefully." As Tom turned to leave, a voice called out, "Wait. What about our failing systems? Our worlds are in crisis." Tom paused at the door. "Fix them yourselves," he said quietly. or admit you need help and accept the new terms." He smiled slightly. "After all, isn't that what you always told us to do? Learn to solve our own problems." The chamber doors closed behind him, leaving the most powerful beings in the galaxy to face a simple truth. The species they had mocked as primitive had become the most advanced civilization in known space. And now they had to choose: adapt to a new galaxy where humans were equals, or try to survive without them. The countdown began. It took the Galactic Council exactly 6 hours, not the full day they were given, to accept humanity's terms. In the end, it wasn't even close. The vote was unanimous. When faced with the choice between working with humans as equals or trying to survive without them, there was really no choice at all. 3 months later, the galaxy looked very different. Tom Reed stood in the newly redesigned council chamber, now lit by a single human fusion lamp that provided more light and power than the old 3 suns combined. The chamber itself had changed. Gone were the rising tiers that put some species physically above others. Now all representatives sat in a perfect circle, symbolizing their equal status. "The first quarter results are in," announced the new head of galactic technology, Mark Wilson. He stood at the center of the chamber, displaying charts that showed incredible progress. "With humanity sharing its true technological capabilities, we've achieved in 3 months what would have taken 50 years under the old system." The aliens watched in amazement as more data filled the screens. Failed corporations were recovering. Dying worlds were being restored. Transport networks were running at speeds previously thought impossible. "The medical updates have been particularly successful," Mark continued. "The combination of human medical technology with various alien biological knowledge has cured 12 previously incurable diseases." Tom smiled as he remembered how they used to laugh at primitive human medical ideas. Now those same ideas were saving millions of lives across the galaxy. "But the most significant change," Mark said, bringing up a new display, "has been in cooperation. In just 3 months, we've seen over 10,000 joint projects between humans and other species. Real cooperation, real sharing of ideas." A representative from the crystalline species raised their form. "And the new AI safety protocols." "Working perfectly," Mark replied. "By combining human AI understanding with alien processing capabilities, we've created systems that are both more powerful and more stable than anything either of us had before." The chamber hummed with positive energy, quite literally, as several energy-based species glowed with satisfaction. In orbit above Earth, the scene was even more impressive. The new joint space docks held ships of all species, working together on projects that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, each learning from the other's strengths. Progress report from the outer colonies. A message flashed on Tom's personal screen. "All atmospheric processors upgraded. Crop yields up 300%. No more food shortages." Another message followed. "Transportation network operating at 500% previous efficiency. All routes stable. No accidents reported." Tom looked around the chamber at the aliens who had once mocked humanity. Now they were partners, equals in a galaxy that was growing faster and better than ever before. The old arrogance was gone, replaced by genuine respect and cooperation. "Final item on today's agenda," announced the new High Council leader. A position that now rotated between all species, including humans. The proposal for the new Galactic Academy of Sciences. The displays showed images of a massive station being built in neutral space. It would be a place where all species could share knowledge freely, where no idea would be dismissed because of its source. "The Academy will be led by rotating teams from all member species," the Council leader explained. "Its first project will be combining human innovation methods with alien traditional knowledge." Tom stood to address the chamber. The room fell silent, not from fear now, but from respect. 6 months ago, I stood in the old chamber and said, "Fine, we'll do it ourselves," he began. "Today, I'm glad to say we're not doing anything by ourselves anymore. We're doing it together, as equals, as partners. He looked around at the assembled representatives. Humanity never wanted to stand above anyone. We just refused to stand below. Now that we're all on equal ground, look how far we've come. The chamber erupted in agreement. Energy beings pulsed with approval. Crystalline forms sparkled with satisfaction. Even the normally reserved gas form species swirled in patterns of joy. As Tom sat back down, a final message appeared on his screen from Mark. Mission accomplished. The galaxy finally learned. Tom smiled. They had indeed learned the most important lesson of all. True progress comes not from proving your superiority, but from working together as equals. The galaxy wasn't just surviving anymore. It was thriving.